Good morning, afternoon,
Good
whatever it
morning.
is.
So this is our first time doing this.
This is true.
Oh my
Excuse me,
goodness.
this is true.
All right, so you have one store to call.
Yes. So this store I found on just a cursory search of Craigslist. And they're trying to sell it for 150,000.
Let me stop you
And
right there. Do
go
you
ahead.
do you think that a store being for sale is a precursor to doing this?
No, not at all. Um, I just did a search and it popped up. So I figured let's take a look at it.
Okay. I'm
Okay.
listening.
The hours are horrible, like 9 to 6 or 9:30 to 6.
Well, they've given up. They don't know how to run a laundromat or they wouldn't be trying to sell it. The only good
I
stores that anyone should ever buy are stores that are built by distributors. And you should never buy those because what they're doing is flipping laundromats by building them out and selling them or retooling them the way we do and selling them.
Right,
That's like trying to
right,
say, well, I do house flipping. Oh, really? How do you do that? Well, I buy a house that someone's already revamped and redone and put a new kitchen in. Okay. It sounds like you're buying from a flipper, not a flipper. So we get that.
right,
But I'm not picking on you.
right.
You know, the finding stores for sale is one way to do this, sure. But going out and looking at stores. So we know it's a nasty store. We know that they're failing because they're trying to sell it. We know that they actually, the operator is also the attendant, and that's why they close at 6. They are scared to death to leave this place open, to build it bulletproof
Right.
and leave it open. The sign, someone took a blowtorch to the sign. What is that? It's just
I don't
burnt.
know. I pulled up and I was like, I don't think it's a lit sign, but it almost looks like the lights behind, if it were a lit sign, the lights caught on fire or something. That's what it looks like to me.
Wow.
But yeah, that's, I had to black out my license plate. But anywho, so roller shades were down both to the left and to the right. So that the only picture I could get of the inside is smashing my phone against the door
Yeah, no,
and
that looks
taking a
fine.
picture.
So that's after hours. That's why it's so dark. It's probably that dark when
Yeah,
it's open. All right, without further
I
ado,
tried
it's
getting
listed
there
on
before it.
Craigslist for $155,000. The time to talk about
Yes.
this kind of thing is over because we've got a landlord. You've hired me to do a job. We just need to call the guy. Uh, the Diego is the landlord, and he also is an insurance agent that works right in the plaza. Correct?
Yes, that's what I was told by the cobbler, ancient gentleman.
There's a cobbler and a laundromat. What
Yes.
about a blacksmith? Is there a buggy
Uh,
whip maker in this place? Good Lord in heaven. All right, so
I know.
Diego is not the operator as far as you know. He is not the guy that
As
runs
far
the
as I
place.
know,
But does
that is
his
correct.
insurance company close at 6? Because he might be the operator. So this is where I'll be
Um,
careful, as I often am. I'm not going to go in and say, this place is the most disgusting, horrible laundromat I've ever seen. Lease it to me. Because if he's the
sure.
operator, it's going to hurt his butt. All right, I'm calling the
The
first number
insurance.
first.
Okay.
Here
All
we
right.
go.
Very good.
Like I said, the time to talk is over, except to him. Subscribe to the channel. This is where you do it. Is Diego going to be a nice guy? Doesn't really matter.
Diego Pedrosa, Farmers Insurance and Financial Services. This is Stella. How can I help you?
Stella, my name's Danny. I would like to speak to Diego himself about some commercial space.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello. You said your name was Danny. You want to speak
my
with
name
him
is
in regards to commercial space?
Danny. Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
Okay. Thank you. One moment.
This is Diego. Can I help you?
Diego, Danny D'Angelo, how's it going?
You're good.
Excellent. I am in the coin laundry business, my friend, and I understand that you are the building over here in River Oaks.
Yes, sir.
I would like to lease that space from you and put a bunch of new equipment in there and run yet another very successful laundromat and give you a rent check for the next 15 years if you are in the mood to end up with a long-term tenant there. Hello?
Yeah. Hello?
Hi.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what you talking about the laundry mat that's there?
Yes, sir.
Well, that doesn't belong to me. I'll rent it out.
Absolutely. You're the right guy, Diego. So you have an operator in the plaza running the laundromat and also trying to sell the laundromat. Are you aware that they have it for sale on Craigslist of all things?
Right. Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. So imagine, now I want to explain who I am and what I do and why I'm interested. I've been doing coin laundromats in Texas and 2 other states for almost 20 years. The way I proliferate my business, I call landlords like Diego. I make a long-term lease happen as long as the terms are commensurate, and I retool the store. I put new equipment in there. It's washers and dryers. Your operator there is, you know what it is. You kind of work in the same plaza, if I'm correct. So their operating hours are a bit preposterous. The sign out front, I don't know what happened to that sign, but good God, it looks like
the sun got it. The sun, I don't know what happened. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it looks weird. Yeah.
It looks like someone took a flamethrower to it, my friend.
Right.
But look, that said, I want to be crystal clear. Yes, you have an operator. I mean, you're a financial planner. You're an insurance agent. You've gone through a lot of, my wife is a stockbroker, licensed insurance agent, and a real estate agent. She maintains all of those licenses for us, for the family, so that when we're traveling, we can look at something and say, is that a good price? Should we deal with that, et cetera? But to say that she doesn't work isn't true, because she works for us, for the family. That said, I understand what it's like to jump through all of those hoops, and you own that building, so you have a vested interest in having a very good long-term tenant in that location. And you and I both know that's not who your current operator is.
Okay.
So that said, maybe we talk today, tomorrow, next week, or next year. My partner and I are interested and intrigued in signing a lease and retooling the store, spending money on our business, not buying the business out. And look, Diego, if you have a good tenant and they're paying the rent on time and they have tons of runway remaining, you know, if they've got 5 years left on their lease and a 5-year option, fantastic. But you also have a say-so in the sale of that business. You know that. You have a bigger say-so than anyone. I would never buy a business in rented space without talking to the landlord first. Never. But many times it happens. So let me ask you a serious question. If someone gives them $150,000 for this failing laundromat with no sign to speak of, with 25-year-old equipment, where they close the doors at 6 p.m. every day, I mean, why don't you buy it? That was the question.
Yeah.
You know, there's no value there.
I understand. There. Yeah. I know. You know, I'm here and they pay the rent, so I don't know how people run their business. You know.
Well, I think you're more vested in how people run the business because your shingle is hung right next door. Your name is on the building, literally. And so in this case, if I were you, I can't tell you how to do what you do, but I'd be losing sleep where, you know, the Yelp reviews on this store show that there's homeless people hanging out in there. They close the doors at 6 o'clock every night. My stores run 24/7. The parking lot will be lit like a Christmas tree. We use Alexa systems in our stores to run the lighting to treat the customers as though they feel at home. I have Alexa in my house. Why not the laundry? We're looking to spend well over 200,000 on washers and dryers to get this place operating successfully. That's the picture that I just want to paint for you. And I hear you saying that they pay the rent. Great. And it's your business. I'm not calling you today cold. I'm not calling up saying, gee, I am going to make 11 more calls in this area of Texas looking in a phone book. We have been in this store several times, walked through the store. And when the time comes, and I think that time is now, my partner and I want to discuss lease terms with you. But no pressure. It's something that, you need to think about. And again, I don't push these operators out. I don't take the operator and throw them out the front glass window of their laundromat. I can't do that. I don't want to do that. I sleep well at night because at the end of the day, their failure is on them. They could go in there and spend the money on equipment. They should march into your office and sign another 10-year lease, go directly to the distributors, let them fight over the prices, and put new equipment in here. You know
So
why
have you contacted the owner, or?
Why would I do that?
Oh, I mean, to buy from him.
I would never buy a laundromat.
No, okay. Okay.
Diego, if I didn't finish
he's
the
on
first.
a lease, he's on a lease right now, so I can't do anything.
Sure.
So.
But let's open our minds for a moment. If he sells this place tomorrow for his asking price of $150,000 on Craigslist, who's your new tenant? What does that new tenant look like to you?
Right. Yes, I understand.
Do you? Would you Would you even want to sign a long-term lease with someone that gave $150,000 for this operation with no sign? Close the doors at 6 o'clock? It's a joke. They're not going to get that. Let's say they get $50,000. So that's not me and my group. I'm not going to buy this laundry. Why would I? When there's a dozen more calls to be made in this area of Texas where there are stores just like it. Do you know one more thing, and I'll let you go. Do you know what I'm after? Do you know why I want the space and want to sign a lease with you?
Not really.
Fair enough. Do you think I'm after the goodwill? The existing customers that are happy to come here every Sunday? Doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
There is no goodwill here. And really, there's no goodwill even in very good laundromats with tons of customers that have 30 locations in town. There's no goodwill there because it's a laundromat. You really have to work hard, have coat drives, barbecues for the consumer to care about you and your operation. It's difficult. But that said, no is the answer. I'm not after the goodwill here. I'm after the infrastructure, the gas, water, and electric. You see a 57 Chevy out in the middle of a field gathering dust with weeds growing through it. You and I both know that 57 Chevy has value. The VIN number, the original engine. If you can pull that car and spend a bunch of money on it, you'll have a showpiece. This place, that's what it is. It's a laundromat in a field with grass growing through it. And you, my friend, if I were you, I'd be doing everything in my power to change the outlook of that laundromat and make that the anchor tenant of my center so that your parking lot is full of cars and you, Diego, are selling insurance to the people that are in that laundromat. Not the way it is now. I can do that for you. But they have a lease and you're thrilled. Maybe not thrilled, but content, if that's the better word.
Well, yeah, not thrilled because I know what you're saying, and it's, I know what you're saying. Yeah,
I know you do. Diego, this telephone call today and my contact and my information, my name's Danny D'Angelo, my partner's name is Christy. She and I want to change the outlook of this laundromat and therefore your center. I'm not asking about your rent rolls. I'm not asking how much time remains on that lease or whether or not they've defaulted in the past. But you and I both know, hey, that's your first and most important relationship with your tenant. They're trying to sell the business, and God bless America. If they come at you with someone willing to give that kind of money for this failed business, you have to scratch your head and say, is this who I want as my tenant? The first question would be, how much are you going to spend on top of the 150 grand to get this place retooled and spend the money on new equipment? That potential buyer probably thinks they're getting a gem, because these sales always say the same thing in Craigslist, for God's sakes. All you have to do is do some work and run a successful wash, dry, fold, and you'll make money. That's not true. No pressure from me, my friend. Text me your email address, and we will email you some before and after pictures of my stores, what we do and how we do it. And if I were you, when I'm falling asleep tonight, when my head hits that pillow, I'm thinking, how do I get Danny in that location? That's all. Elevate. Imagine $250,000 is spent on brand new equipment. We've got attendants in there 10 hours a day. A year from now, the store is 24 hours. The parking lot is well lit, and you've got more customers going into your Farmers Insurance office. Just saying. That's a real picture. This isn't some Norman Rockwell painting. That's a real picture that I'm painting. That's what we do.
How many laundries do you have, laundromats?
What a great question. 36 stores in 3 states.
And you live here in town, or?
Are you referring to my cell phone number? We are local. You can't run laundromats from outside the area. Another good question. There's no successful franchises in laundromats because it's a cash business.
Okay.
Now you're listening to me.
Alrighty.
We are local. We are ready to spend the money on equipment, which is all this business is. You've got a dumpy, nasty little laundromat right next door to your name. I wouldn't. I would do everything in my power to change that if I were you. We can do that for you.
Right. Yes, sir.
Text me your email address.
Alrighty.
Glad to know you. Thanks, Diego.
Take care. Okay.
Well, there's your first ever telephone call with Danny at the helm. I know what I think, so now I'll ask you, Christy, what do you think?
He didn't give up hardly any details, which is a little bit frustrating, but
wow, that's the first thing you say? Your glass is half empty.
No. I was listening for him to give up details about the space, and he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
Well, the only thing I captured is it's still under lease and the tenant is paying rent, and he's not too happy about it.
That's all you need to know.
He's not.
Do you think that I have some reputation for wedging my way into someone's personal information? I don't. What you need to understand, in the beginning, he had no idea who I was, no idea what we were about. And then we plateaued somewhere in the conversation. And then he gave up the ghost and said, well, they pay the rent. And he did not say they're a good tenant. When I pushed a little more and said the place is an absolute wreck, here's what I get from it. Wow, Danny.
Okay.
Wow, you just called a landlord out of the blue and used his personal affect to make him feel shitty about what's going on with his life. He's an insurance agent and a financial planner with his own name on the building next door to a burnt out sign in an old, horrible laundromat where the operator has given up. And I just twisted that knife. I just explained to him what anyone can see from the sidewalk. Job well done.
That's why I hired you, because I can't do what you do.
Okay. Well, some of the problems, some of the mistakes that a potential newbie would make is to call him and start asking questions. I would never ask questions. Hey, what's the story with this laundromat? How long has the tenant been there? How many years did they have on their lease? I got that information. I heard I already know what it looks like, and I'm not calling to dig for info. A picture is truly worth 1,000 words, and those 1,000 words start with nasty, filthy, disgusting, broken down, poor operation. And we know that already. It's not a fact-finding mission when we call. It's getting the right guy on the phone, which you did, and truly painting a picture through words, which is all I have. And I said, bro, you know what? You want to change the way this place is operating. He just texted his email
And I
address.
think you, awesome. And I put it into the template as well, but at least from the card, it's his farmer's email. You were able to paint that picture, and I think you've got him kind of set back on his heels thinking about, hey, I can upgrade this center, because his sign is I don't know if I got a picture of it, but I could probably find it on Google, but his sign is fairly new from what I'm looking at. In the corner.
All right. Well,
unit,
we've had the discussion. You put one store in the document today, and we had a good,
Yes.
we've cracked the nut, so to speak, and we've had a conversation with the guy. But here, you need to put more stores in the document. You need to scout more stores physically, find the proper information the way you did here. Nicely done. And at the same time, what do we do with this store? Well, I'll send an email. It's going to be a generic email showing some photographs, etc. But I didn't finish. At the end of that conversation, he circled back and started asking very pointed questions. How many stores do you have? And as I always say, I had 36 stores in 3 states, had 36 stores in 3 states. You got to be, you never lie in business. It'll always come back and bite you. I, me,
Absolutely.
we, us, you and I. When he sees the LOI, it's not time for that now. Just made a call 10 minutes ago, and a cold call turned into a letter of intent. This guy's not ready, but we planted the seeds. Your phone ever ring and someone's trying to sell you something and you say, yes, absolutely. That's a hell of a salesman. Where you're busy watching Netflix and the phone rings and you decide to buy something. Well, people can do that. And I'm talking about something that you don't even know you need. What we're doing here is cold calling someone out of the blue and saying, you need this thing. And he knows he does.
Sure.
So I'm not going to break my arm patting myself on the back. This is a cold call that turned into a very good, I have this reputation for screaming and yelling. When somebody steps to me, I know what needs to be done. In this case, this guy's a bit downtrodden because he is the landlord and he runs a small business and he's next door to a laundromat with a burnt ass sign. It's like, wow. Okay. So what do we do here? You keep a close physical eye on it. I will CC you in the email and we will do this again soon.
All right. Anticipate
Nicely done.
that, and I'm scouting more stores soon in the next few days.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks.
Ciao. Thank you. That's it, ladies and gentlemen, in a nutshell. Sometimes I get excited and I decide I'm going to do a bunch of lives in a day. My TikTok is blowing up right now. TikTok. Kids want to own businesses, and I think that, that's good. That's great. Kids, children, teenagers. When I was 13, I was painting numbers on sidewalks for $5 a pop. That was my first small business. I was watching Stranger Things, and I'm 51 years old. I'm not losing my mind or anything, but you forget things. A song will remind you of something. A smell will remind you of something. I'm watching Stranger Things. They've got the letter jackets, the basketball players. I lettered in high school in theater. My junior year, I got my letter. It was free. They handed it to me. I'm still a thespian. You're always a Marine. You're always a thespian. I was handed that letter. I don't have a letter jacket from my high school. My parents couldn't afford it. My parents got divorced at 13. Woe is me. My mother tried to convince me we were middle class. We weren't middle class. The letter jacket with the white leather sleeves was $100. I still have my letter in my yearbook. I couldn't afford the yearbook either. I did not grow up with money at all. We were homeless for 6 months. I can start saying these things now because my mother doesn't watch my YouTube channel and my father is dead. Kids today want to have businesses. Is it the right reasons? Sure, absolutely. Not wanting to work for a living and work hard is not the right reason. Not wanting to go to a job, not the right reason. I have laundromats for you. If you're watching this at 13 years old, God bless you. Go after it. Do it. I've got to send this dude an email. I've got an LOI going out in Florida. This is what I do. If you're interested, start with my free newsletter, right in the link in the description, or grab the course today. Do it. Sub to the channel. Ciao.